My wife and stepdaughter concocted lies against my 14-year-old son to ruin his life, so I exposed their plot. Can you imagine looking into your child's terrified eyes, knowing he's just been accused of an unspeakable crime he absolutely didn't commit? And that the people who lied were your own wife and her daughter? The betrayal cut deeper than any blade, but what happened next, what I did next, changed everything forever. I'm a 42-year-old guy, an intelligence analyst for the Army. 8 years ago, I married Kelly, who was 39. My job pays decently, the hours are stable, and apparently, that just made me the perfect ATM for Kelly and her daughter, Eva. I brought my son, Liam, into this marriage. He was only 6 when his mom died of cancer, fast and brutally. Kelly brought Eva, who was 10 at the time. She sold me this whole vision of a blended family, how we'd all support each other, how the kids would grow up as siblings. It sounded beautiful, a chance at a new beginning for all of us. But the second we got married, Kelly quit her administrative job. Said she wanted to focus on being a mom. Which sounded great until I realized she only planned on mothering one kid. Liam got the basics, barely. Eva got the full package, new clothes every month, expensive birthday parties, whatever hobby she wanted, immediately funded. I caught it early. I called it out every single time. And that, I think, is why Kelly and Eva grew to resent Liam so much. Every time I shut down their blatant favoritism, they blamed him for it. Like protecting my own child was some personal attack on them. Liam's 14 now. He shot up like a weed in the past 2 years, 6 feet 1 inch, broad shoulders, looks about 17 or 18. People always assume he's older. Eva just turned 18, legally an adult, though you'd never know it from how Kelly still babed her. The favoritism attempts weren't even subtle. Eva would interrupt Liam constantly, and I'd cut her off mid-sentence. Eva, Liam was talking. Wait your turn. Kelly hated that. Gave me this death stare every time. If Liam shared something about his day and Kelly gave him one-word responses, I'd keep asking him questions until he finished. I needed to make sure he knew someone in that house actually cared. Kelly's entitlement just got worse every year. She'd complain about the house being too small, about needing a new car, about her friends having nicer things. I'd remind her she hadn't contributed a paycheck in 8 years. Those conversations ended fast. She had this way of making everything about her sacrifices. Every discussion somehow circled back to how hard her life was, how exhausting it was to manage a household. Meanwhile, I'd come home from 12-hour shifts to find dishes in the sink and Kelly glued to reality TV. I started leaving the dishes there. Let her explain to guests why the kitchen looked like that. Christmas was always a battle. Kelly would try to spend thousands on Eva while giving Liam gift cards. Not on my watch. Whatever Eva got, Liam got the equivalent. Same budget. No exceptions. Kelly tried to argue once that Eva needed more because she was older. I told her Liam's needs weren't up for debate, and if she pushed it, Eva's budget would match Liam's instead. She backed off. The grocery bill was another thing. Kelly tried buying organic everything for herself and Eva, while getting Liam's store brand. I reorganized the whole system. Either everyone eats the same quality, or I'm handling grocery shopping myself. She tested me once. I donated the premium stuff and restocked with identical items for everyone. She got the message. Kelly hated that I wouldn't let Liam become invisible. Every time I defended him, she'd sulk for days. Eva started calling Liam Daddy's favorite, with this bitter, venomous tone. They blamed him for me having a spine. Like the problem was my son existing, not their entitlement. I tried having real conversations with Kelly about treating both kids equally. She had this whole playbook of deflection. Either I was being paranoid, or I was creating division, or I was too protective. She'd flip every conversation back on me. Once she told me Liam needed to toughen up and stop running to Daddy. I told her Eva needed to learn the world doesn't revolve around her. That one earned me a week of silent treatment. Liam's a good kid. Quiet, respectful, thoughtful. He knew Kelly and Eva didn't like him. Hard to miss when they barely hid their contempt. But he also knew I had his back, unconditionally. That's something no one could take from him. The real wake-up call came about a year ago. I was working from home one afternoon. I heard Kelly and Eva talking in the kitchen. Liam was at a friend's house. Eva was complaining about something, probably bitter about me shutting down another shopping request. Then Kelly said something that made my blood run cold. "I'm so tired of your father defending that kid. Liam's not really part of this family anyway. Just your dad's baggage we have to put up with until he's old enough to move out." Eva laughed. Said something about how Liam was weird and creepy because he was so quiet. Said she wished I just let things be, instead of always making everything about him. Kelly didn't correct her. She just agreed and kept cooking dinner like she hadn't just called my son baggage in his own home. I'd been defending my kid for 8 years, standing in the gap every single day. And this was what they really thought when they didn't know I was listening. All that resentment because I refused to let them treat my son like he didn't matter. I started planning my exit strategy that day. I consulted a lawyer quietly, got my finances in order, figured out what divorce would look like. But I needed evidence that would hold up in court, and protect Liam from Kelly trying to drag this out, or make his life harder during the process. That's when I bought the cameras. It took me 2 weeks to get everything set up. I ordered cameras that looked like normal household items, a clock in the living room, a phone charger in the kitchen, a book on the hallway shelf. $347 on my credit card statement. All recording, all storing footage to a cloud server Kelly didn't know existed. Before I installed anything, I had my lawyer review the legality. No bedrooms, no bathrooms, just recording in shared spaces. He signed off on it, said it would be admissible. The first week of footage was mostly boring. Nothing dramatic enough to matter. I started wondering if I'd wasted my money. Then came Saturday. Liam has this hoodie. He's had it since he was 5. His mom gave it to him a few months before she died. The thing's worn out, faded, patches on the elbows from where I've had to repair it over the years. But it's precious to him. One of the last physical things he has from her. I came home from running errands and found Liam sitting on the back porch, shoulders hunched, face blank in that way that told me something was very wrong. He was holding his hoodie. It was soaking wet, stained brown, reeking of coffee. It took me 5 minutes to get the story out of him. Eva had used it to mop up a spill. Laughed when he tried to stop her. Told him to get over his dead mom already. Kelly had walked in, seen the whole thing, and sent Liam to his room for whining. I checked the camera footage later. Every word Liam told me was true. I had Kelly on video smirking while my son's heart broke. Had Eva's cruel little laugh saved to 5 different backup locations. But right then, I didn't need footage. I needed to handle this. I found Kelly and Eva in the living room, watching TV like nothing happened. I didn't yell. Didn't need to. "Eva, you're replacing that hoodie's sentimental value with 3 months of chores. Every dish, every load of laundry, every trash run. Miss one, and I sell your car." Eva's mouth dropped open. "You can't be serious. It was an accident." My voice was low, dangerous. "You used his dead mother's last gift as a cleaning rag while laughing at him. Pick your next words carefully." Kelly tried to intervene. "You're overreacting. It's just a piece of clothing." I looked at her. "Just a piece of clothing? His mother is dead, Kelly. That hoodie is irreplaceable. Your opinion on this is irrelevant." I went back to Liam, told him Eva would face real consequences. Promised him I was working on making things better, permanently. He just nodded. Asked if we could get the hoodie cleaned properly. See if anything could be saved. We took it to a specialty cleaner that weekend. Cost me $85, but they got most of the stain out. Liam's face when he saw it looking almost normal again was worth every penny. Kelly and Eva were ice cold to both of us after that. Good. Let them show their true colors even more clearly on camera. I kept recording because I knew this wasn't over. And every piece of footage was another nail in Kelly's coffin for when I finally pulled the trigger on this divorce. 2 months after I installed the cameras, everything exploded. Tuesday, March 14th. I remember because it was the day after I'd filed taxes. I got home from work around 6. The house felt wrong the second I walked in. Too quiet. Too tense. I found Kelly in the living room sitting with Eva. Both of them looking serious. Liam was nowhere in sight. "We need to talk," Kelly said. Her voice had this practiced concern that immediately put me on edge. "Sit down." I stayed standing. "What's going on?" Kelly put her arm around Eva, who suddenly looked scared. The whole performance felt staged, like they'd rehearsed it. "Eva has something she needs to tell you. Something very serious." My stomach dropped. Eva looked at me with big, watery eyes. 18 years old, legally an adult, but playing the victim like she was still a child. "Liam touched me in a bad way. He came into my room last night and he touched me. My son. The kid who still slept with a nightlight because he was scared of the dark. Liam, who cried when we accidentally hit a squirrel with the car last year. That Liam." Kelly jumped in immediately, not letting the silence sit. "I didn't want to believe it either, but Eva came to me this morning crying. We can't ignore this. We need to call the police. He's big enough to be dangerous." That's when I noticed it. Kelly's phone was sitting on the coffee table. The screen lit up for a second. I caught a glimpse of the notification, recent calls with a timestamp from 20 minutes ago. Before I'd even gotten home. She'd already made calls. Already set things in motion before even talking to me. Everything in me screamed that this was wrong, but I kept my voice steady. Years of training kicked in. Stay calm. Gather information. Don't show your hand. "Where's Liam?" "In his room. I told him to stay there. He knows what he did." I headed for the stairs. Kelly called after me, said I shouldn't talk to him without supervision, that it could compromise the investigation. I ignored her completely. I found Liam sitting on his bed, looking terrified. He saw me and words tumbled out fast, panicked. "Dad, I swear I didn't do anything. I didn't go in her room. I was in bed all night. I don't know why she's saying this. You have to believe me." I sat down next to him. The kid was shaking so hard I could feel it through the mattress. "Liam, look at me. I need you to tell me exactly what happened last night." He took a breath, tried to steady himself. "I went to bed at 9 o'clock like always, fell asleep watching videos on my tablet, woke up this morning and everything was normal. Then after you left for work, Eva started crying and told Kelly I did something bad. But I didn't, Dad. I promise on Mom's grave I didn't." I believed him. Not because I was biased, but because I knew my son, knew his character. And because I knew Kelly and Eva even better. Now, after months of footage showing exactly what they were capable of, this accusation felt like Kelly's nuclear option. Her way of getting rid of Liam permanently. Make him a registered offender. Destroy his entire future before it even started. "Stay here. Don't talk to anyone except me. Not Kelly, not Eva, not anyone who comes to the house." I went back downstairs. Kelly and Eva were right where I left them, whispering to each other. They stopped the second they saw me. "So, did he confess?" Kelly scoffed, dramatic and dismissive. "He says he didn't do it. Of course he'd say that. He's not going to admit to something like this. We need to call the authorities tonight before he tries something else." "Not yet. I want to check something first." I pulled out my phone, opened the app for the security cameras. The app took forever to load. My battery icon flashed red, 8%. Worst possible timing. Kelly's face went pale even before the app opened. Something flickered across her expression. She never knew about the cameras in the first place. "What are you doing?" The app finally loaded. I navigated to the footage archive, hands steady even though my heart was pounding. I was checking the footage from last night. If something happened, the hallway camera would have caught it. Both bedroom doors are visible. I pulled up the timestamp, 9 p.m. to 7 a.m. hallway outside both kids' rooms. I watched the whole thing on fast forward while Kelly and Eva sat in frozen silence. Liam's door never opened except once at 11 o'clock when he went to the bathroom, and came right back. He never went near Eva's room. But Eva's door opened at 6:30 a.m. She crept into the hallway, looked around like she was checking if anyone was watching, then went back into her room. 2 minutes later, she came out crying, ran to Kelly's room. The accusation happened 30 minutes after Liam woke up. A full hour after Eva started setting it up. I turned the phone to Kelly, showed her the footage. I watched her expression shift from fake concern to genuine panic. "This doesn't prove anything," she said, her voice weak and getting weaker. "Maybe the camera missed it. Maybe he went in earlier. It proves Liam never went near Eva's room. Timestamp footage. Continuous recording. Want to explain how he assaulted her without ever leaving his bedroom?" Kelly's jaw tightened. Something flickered in her eyes. Not defeat. Defiance. "Doesn't matter. They're already coming." Those calls she'd made before I got home. She'd already pulled the trigger. Already filed the report. Eva started crying for real now. Actual panic crying, not the performance from before. Kelly pulled her closer, but the cracks were showing. "Stop." My voice came out cold. "I have cameras all over this house, Kelly. Living room, kitchen, hallway, every common area. And I have weeks of footage of you and Eva making Liam's life miserable, calling him baggage, destroying his mother's belongings. All of it recorded." Kelly's face twisted. The mask dropped completely. No more concerned mother act. Just pure rage and something uglier underneath. "You've been spying on us in our own home. My house. My cameras. All legal. And lucky I did, because you just tried to land my son with a record that would follow him for the rest of his life. We weren't trying to destroy anything. We were just trying to get him out of this house. He doesn't belong here anyway. This is supposed to be our family, not his." There it was. The truth said out loud. Eva cried harder. Kelly just glared at me, furious that her plan had backfired. I stood up. Started making calls. My lawyer first. "Pack your things, both of you. I want you out within the hour. You can't kick us out. I'm your wife. This is my home, too. You don't have rights to make false accusations against a minor. Eva's 18, Kelly. She just filed a false police report as an adult. That's a felony. You coached her to do it. That makes you an accessory." The color drained from both their faces. I called my lawyer while Kelly screamed at me, told him what happened, sent him the footage immediately. He confirmed what I already knew. The false accusation combined with all the other footage gave me everything I needed for the divorce. Kelly tried threatening me. Said she'd still tell the cops her story. Said Eva would testify convincingly. I just held up my phone. "Please do. I'd love to show this footage to the police. Let them see how you coach your adult daughter to make a false report against a child. I've worked with enough people in law enforcement to know exactly how this plays out for you." She went quiet. The reality of what she'd done finally started sinking in. I went upstairs, told Liam to pack a bag. Told him we were getting a hotel while Kelly and Eva cleared out. He looked confused, scared, relieved all at once. "Am I in trouble?" "No, buddy. Nobody. You didn't do anything wrong. Kelly and Eva made up a lie, but I proved it was fake. They're leaving. It's just going to be us from now on." He started crying, but the good kind. The relief kind. He hugged me hard and didn't let go for a full minute. We left within 20 minutes. I changed the locks remotely while we drove to the hotel. $119 a night. The house was mine, bought before the marriage. She was done. I got Liam settled with some food and a movie. I stepped out into the hallway to check my phone. That's when I saw it. Voicemail from an unknown number. Timestamp from 2 hours ago. "Hello, this is the County Police Department returning your call regarding a reported incident involving a minor. We'll need to schedule a time to speak with all parties involved. Please call back at your earliest convenience." Kelly had actually called them. Made an official report. Even knowing it was a lie, she'd started the process that could destroy my son's life. The footage saved Liam from the accusation itself. But the report was already filed, and I was about to find out just how much damage Kelly had already done. Next morning, I barely slept. But I wasn't sitting around waiting for this to blow up in my son's face. Intelligence work teaches you one thing above all else: control the narrative before someone else does. I called the police department first thing. Explained the situation. Offered to bring in the footage immediately. Sir, once a report is filed, we have to investigate, but video evidence will definitely be reviewed. Then I made the calls that mattered. Reached out to my commanding officer at the base. Explained the situation briefly. He'd known Liam since he was 7, watched him grow up at base events. His response was immediate. What do you need? Next call was to the principal at Liam's school. I got her before the first bell. This is Liam's father. Before you hear anything through unofficial channels, I need 30 minutes of your time this morning. It's about my son, and I have evidence you need to see. She agreed. I was in her office by 8:15 with my laptop, the footage, and a folder of documentation. I showed her everything, the timeline, the cameras, the footage proving Liam never left his room. Eva's history of antagonizing him. Kelly's recorded statement, calling him baggage. She watched it all without interrupting. When it finished, she looked at me with something between horror and respect. Thank you for bringing this to me directly. This changes how we handle any incoming information. I met her gaze. I need you to understand something. My son is 14 years old. He's about to be investigated for something he didn't do. If this leaks and his classmates find out before he's cleared, his reputation gets destroyed by a lie. She nodded slowly. What are you asking for? Discretion. Keep this contained to administration only. No teachers, no counselors, no one who might accidentally mention it where students can hear. However long it takes for the police and CPS to review the footage and close this. She agreed. Put it in writing. Liam would attend school normally while the investigation happened quietly in the background. The investigation took almost 3 weeks. CPS got involved, which I expected. They visited Liam's school, talked to him privately with a child advocate present. Once they reviewed the footage and took statements from everyone, they closed their file. 3 weeks where Liam went to class, did his homework, hung out with his friends at lunch. 3 weeks where he had no idea how close he'd come to having his entire life derailed by a formal investigation. I didn't tell him about the full scope of the legal proceedings until the day after CPS closed their case and the police called to confirm it was over. The video evidence clearly shows your son never approached the alleged victim's room during the time frame in question. We're closing the investigation with no charges. However, I should mention that filing a false report is a serious offense. We'll be following up with Eva regarding her statement. That evening, I sat Liam down and explained what had happened. What Kelly and Eva had tried to do. Why I'd installed the cameras. Why I'd handled it the way I did. He was quiet for a long time. Then he asked, So nobody at school knows? Nobody. The principal kept it locked down. Your friends, your teachers, your coaches, none of them have any idea. His shoulders dropped, relief flooding through him. How did you know to do all that? The cameras? Talking to the principal first? I smiled, a genuine smile. Because protecting you is my job, buddy. And I take my job seriously. That night, he actually ate dinner, talked about his day, mentioned a girl in his history class he thought was cute. Normal teenage stuff. I called my lawyer that night. Told him I wanted to pursue everything, not just divorce. I wanted Kelly and Eva to face real consequences. Eva's 18. She filed a false police report as an adult. That's a crime, and I have evidence she did it deliberately. With coaching from Kelly. I want charges pressed. My lawyer was quiet for a moment. Are you sure? This will escalate things significantly. She tried to destroy my son's future with a lie. The only reason his classmates aren't calling him a predator right now is because I got ahead of it. Yeah, I'm sure. We filed everything the next day. The police followed up with Eva. Without Kelly there to coach her responses, Eva crumbled under questioning. Admitted she made it up. Said her mom told her it was the only way to get Liam out of the house so they could have a normal family. Eva was charged with filing a false police report, a felony charge. Her tearful apology to the officers didn't matter. The law was clear. Kelly tried to lawyer up, claimed she had nothing to do with it, but I had the footage. Had her on camera telling Eva that Liam wasn't really family. Had weeks of documentation showing a pattern of behavior designed to push Liam out. The divorce proceedings started immediately, though nothing in family court moves fast. We went through mandatory mediation, which failed spectacularly. Kelly came out swinging, demanded half of everything, plus spousal support. Her lawyer painted her as a devoted wife and mother to Eva. My lawyer played the footage. The judge watched Kelly call Liam baggage. Watched Eva destroy his dead mother's hoodie while Kelly smirked. Watched the timeline of the false accusation unfold. The judge looked at Kelly's lawyer. Counselor, your client needs to seriously reconsider her demands because from what I'm seeing, she's lucky I don't recommend charges for conspiracy. Because I owned the home before marriage and had documented evidence of her behavior, Kelly walked away with very little. No spousal support, no claim to the house, a small settlement just to finalize things quickly. But the real victory was the protection order. Kelly couldn't contact Liam directly, couldn't show up at his school, couldn't interfere with his life in any way. Neither could Eva, who was now dealing with her own legal problems. The divorce was finalized on July 18th. 8 years of marriage dissolved because Kelly couldn't treat a kid with basic human decency. 5 months after the divorce, things were finally stabilizing. Liam was thriving at school. Same friends, same activities, same life, just without the toxicity waiting for him at home every day. The house felt different now. Quieter, but in a good way. No more walking on eggshells. No more wondering what mood Kelly would be in when we got home. Just me and my son, finally able to breathe. Kelly and Eva didn't go quietly, though. The day I changed the locks, they showed up with a moving truck and 2 of Eva's friends to help load furniture. Kelly tried to take things that weren't hers. The leather couch I bought before we even met. My grandmother's china set. Even tried to grab the TV out of Liam's room. I stood in the doorway with the property settlement agreement in hand. You get what's listed, nothing more. Kelly's face twisted. You can't do this. 8 years I gave to this family. 8 years of my life. My voice was flat. 8 years of making my son feel like an intruder in his own home. 8 years of favoritism I had to fight every single day. You want to talk about what you gave? Let's talk about what you tried to take. Eva stepped up beside her mother, arms crossed. This is ridiculous. We have nowhere to go. Should have thought about that before you filed a false police report. Should have thought about it before you tried to label a 14-year-old as a predator. They loaded what they were entitled to. Took about 2 hours. The whole time, Kelly kept making comments under her breath. About how I'd tricked her. About how she never should have married me. About how Liam had poisoned everything from the start. I recorded every word on my phone, just in case. When they finally pulled away, Eva was crying in the passenger seat. Kelly didn't look back. Just drove off toward whatever future she'd carved out for herself. A month later, I heard through mutual friends that they'd moved into Kelly's sister's basement. 2-bedroom house, for adults, 1 bathroom. Eva was sleeping on an air mattress in the corner of the laundry room. Kelly started showing up places she shouldn't. First, it was the grocery store I always went to on Sundays. Coincidence, maybe? Then, it was the coffee shop near my work. Then, she was parked outside Liam's school, just sitting in her car, watching students come out. Liam spotted her first. Came home shaken. Dad, I think I saw Kelly's car in the parking lot after school. I called my lawyer immediately. She's testing the protection order. Probably thinks if she doesn't make direct contact, she's in the clear. What can I do? Document everything. If she keeps it up, we can file for enforcement. I started keeping a log, dates, times, locations, photos when I could get them without being obvious. It built a pattern over 3 weeks. 12 separate sightings, all within a few hundred feet of places Liam and I frequented. Then came the phone calls, unknown numbers, always hanging up after 1 ring. Voicemails that were just breathing. Nothing I could prove was Kelly, but the timing was too perfect. I filed the enforcement motion with everything I had. The hearing was scheduled for April 3rd. Kelly showed up looking rough. Weight she'd lost. Circles under her eyes. Eva sat behind her in the gallery, chewing her nails. The judge reviewed my documentation, the sightings log, the phone records showing calls from burner numbers, the photos of Kelly's car at various locations. Ms. Smith, can you explain why your vehicle was photographed outside your stepson's school on 3 separate occasions? Kelly's lawyer tried to spin it. Said she was just driving through the area, said it was a free country. A free country with protection orders, the judge replied, which exists specifically because your client's behavior warranted court intervention. More evidence came out. My lawyer subpoenaed Kelly's sister, who reluctantly admitted that Kelly talked constantly about getting back at me, about how unfair everything was, about how she made sure I regretted humiliating her. Eva tried to claim she had nothing to do with any of it, but her phone records showed she'd been making those hang-up calls from a prepaid phone purchased with her debit card. The judge wasn't amused. Ms. Miller, you have an existing charge for filing a false report. You're now facing additional charges for harassment and violating a protection order by proxy. You're 18 years old. These are adult consequences. Eva broke down crying. Kelly tried to intervene. Said Eva was troubled. Needed help, not punishment. The judge fixed Kelly with a stare. Ms. Smith, you're the one who's been stalking your ex-husband and stepson. Your daughter was helping you. That's not trouble. That's a choice. Kelly's lawyer tried to argue, but there was no defense. The evidence was overwhelming. Eva was offered a pre-trial diversion program. If she completed it and stayed clean for 2 years, her record would be sealed. Any further contact with Liam would mean immediate jail time. Kelly received 30 days in county jail for violating the protection order. Due to overcrowding, she served 10. Watching them lead her out in handcuffs, I felt nothing. Just tired. But I still wasn't done. I filed a civil lawsuit against both Kelly and Eva. Defamation, intentional infliction of emotional distress, harassment. I named every incident, attached all evidence, calculated every dollar of damage. The wheels of justice don't turn fast, but they do turn, especially when you come with receipts and a lawyer who knows how to use them. Kelly's lawyer tried to get it dismissed. My lawyer countered with the evidence showing this was a coordinated campaign, not a one-time mistake. The judge let the case proceed. Discovery took months, but was enlightening. My lawyer subpoenaed Kelly's phone and laptop. Texts showed she'd been planning the false accusation for weeks before it happened. Messages to her sister about how to make Liam leave. Emails to Eva with subject lines like, the plan, and next steps. A deleted note titled, Eva Statement Draft, dated February 21st, 3 weeks before the accusation. She'd planned every detail, written out what Eva should say, how she should act, when to cry, even included reminders to keep the timeline vague so cameras couldn't disprove it. Except she forgot I had cameras. And she forgot that, deleted, doesn't mean gone forever when lawyers get involved. Trial was scheduled for the following March, almost a year after I'd filed. Kelly tried to settle 3 times before we got there. First offer was an apology and a couple thousand. I rejected it. Second offer was the same apology with a public statement admitting the accusation was false. Rejected that too. Third offer was adding her entire divorce settlement on top. I thought about taking it. But then I thought about what would have happened if I hadn't gotten ahead of this. If I hadn't called the principal first. If I hadn't had cameras running. I rejected the offer. I wanted this on public record. The trial lasted 4 days. First day, my lawyer laid out the timeline, the false accusation, the police investigation, the stalking campaign after the divorce. The opposing lawyer tried to paint Kelly as a concerned mother who'd overreacted. My lawyer asked why a concerned mother would draft an accusation statement 3 weeks in advance. Second day, we played the footage. Kelly on camera saying Liam was baggage. Eva destroying his dead mother's hoodie while Kelly smirked. The timeline of the morning of the accusation, showing Eva leaving her room alone, coming back 2 minutes later in fake tears. The jury watched Kelly's face as her own recorded words played. He's not really part of this family anyway. Some of them looked at Liam, sitting in the gallery, 15 now, quiet, polite. Then they looked at Kelly, and the disgust was visible. Third day, Eva took the stand. My lawyer walked her through every message, every email, every deleted note. She tried to claim she was manipulated by Kelly, that she didn't understand the consequences. My lawyer's voice was firm. Ms. Miller, you were 18 years old when you filed that police report. You're currently facing felony charges for that report. At what point did you understand that falsely accusing someone of assault was wrong? She had no good answer. Fourth day, closing arguments. The jury deliberated for 2 hours. Came back with a verdict in my favor. The damages weren't life-changing money, but that wasn't the point. What mattered was the public record stating the accusation was false and malicious. An injunction against any future statements about Liam. That was all I really wanted. Kelly sat frozen when the verdict was read. Eva cried. I felt nothing. Just tired. It's been a year now since the trial. Kelly tested the protection order once. Showed up at one of Liam's track meets about 6 months ago. I spotted her in the stands, called the police, they escorted her out. That violation triggered more jail time, 2 weeks. Her lawyer warned her that another incident would mean months, not weeks. She hasn't tried anything again since. But Eva did reach out about 3 months ago. Showed up at my office parking lot looking like she hadn't slept in days. I was walking to my car when I heard her voice behind me. Please, I just need 5 minutes. I turned around. She looked rough. Dark circles, clothes that didn't fit right anymore. The entitlement was gone, replaced by something desperate. I know I messed up. I know what I did was wrong, but my life is over. I can't get into any school. I can't get a decent job. Even with the diversion program, everyone knows what I did. Please, if you could just tell people it was a misunderstanding, I could start over. I let her finish. Let the silence sit for a moment. You tried to label my son a predator. You wanted him on a registry for the rest of his life. You rehearsed your story. You wrote drafts. You picked a timeline you thought cameras couldn't catch. She started crying. I was stupid. My mom pushed me into it. I didn't understand what would happen. My voice was cold. You were 18, an adult. You understood exactly what would happen to Liam. You just didn't think it would happen to you. She reached for my arm. I stepped back. Please, I'm begging you. I'll apologize to Liam. I'll do whatever you want. Just give me a chance to fix this. You had 8 years of chances. Every single day, you could have treated him like a human being. You chose cruelty instead. Now you're standing in a parking lot asking me to erase consequences you earned. I walked to my car, opened the door. The answer is no. And it's going to stay no forever. I drove off, watched her shrink in my rearview mirror, felt nothing. Liam's doing great. Transferred schools, made new friends, joined art club, won second place in a regional art competition last month, hung the ribbon next to a photo of his mom. We repainted his room last weekend, navy blue with silver accents. While rolling paint, he asked, Dad, do you think they'll ever stop hating us? Maybe not, I said. But they tried to destroy your life and failed. You're still standing. That's what matters. He nodded. Kept painting. Last week, he brought home a permission slip, overnight field trip, 3 days of camping. 6 months ago, he would have assumed the answer was no. Think I should go? He asked. Absolutely, I told him. You've earned it. A real smile. Not the careful one he wore around Kelly. He asked if he'd ever fully get over it. I told him the truth. Some things leave marks, buddy. But marks aren't damage. They're reminders of what you survived. He thought about that, then said, I'm glad it happened. Not the bad stuff, but finding out who you really are. That you'd fight that hard for me. I just hugged him. That's everything. Have you ever had to fight tooth and nail for someone you love, against impossible odds? Or perhaps you've experienced betrayal so deep it changed you forever? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I'm really curious to hear your take on this.